everybody. We are back at our Morena terrace project, and we poured concrete today. We have walls. This is splendid, and this will give me a chance to show you guys a couple other small things that went into the process of forming prior to pouring that weren't out here on the site last time. So if you remember, when we were out on the site last time, we just had the forms sticking up with no type of bracing whatsoever. So if you try and pour concrete with nothing holding the forms in place, you can end up having the walls kind of wave on you. So you use tie bars with turnbuckles. So you'll see these have got threads here, threads there, and that center piece will spin. So you can actually straighten the wall out. You can push it in a little bit or pull it out a little bit, depending on what needs as you start to fill the forms up. So you'll see we got those along, especially on the tall sections. And in the garage, I really don't want to climb in and risk busting myself on a nice fall down there. But you'll see we've got that same type of setup all the way around the inside of the garage, so we can keep the walls straight there. And another thing we didn't have the last time you guys were along for a walkthrough with me was something to give us a ledge for brick. So if you were to just pour your foundation straight across here, you would not have a recess location for your brick. So what they do is we take a section of foam and we set the foam down inside, we clamp it down with these clamp shells, and we pour around it. When we strip the forms, these pieces of insulation come out, and we have a perfect ledge for our full bed masonry. This portion of the foundation is going to have stone on it. Once we get to the inside of the entryway, will be brick. And the upper section of this is going to be brick after the stone, but you can kind of see that foam follows its way all the way around the front and wraps the corner. So we've got that brick ledge. And of course, this is where we enter the garage, so you're going to have a drop down there. So once we pour our driveway and we pour the floor in the garage, it'll all meet at the same level there. You'll see we've got that same foam carries out throughout here, wraps the inside. That's going to be our entryway. Wraps around this little nook. It's got a window up top, but all that is going to be masonry inside and masonry along these front walls. And you'll see, since we drop down that steep grade here, we step the foundation down as we go. And in each one of those steps, we've got the foam inserts so we can keep our brick stepping down as we go around. And then you'll see we've got kind of the same step down to get us down to what will be grade level there. We have a lot of fill to bring in still. Even though we've got this little bit here and we're kind of high above the curb still, this is not even enough to backfill the front portion of the foundation. So we've probably got every bit of 50 trucks of fill to bring in to work on our grade. So I'm going to take kind of a walk around the back and show you guys what we got going on there. Yeah, and again, I know I'm always talking about the weather, but it's absolutely gorgeous out today. It was like 90 degrees, sunny, no rain in sight. Now it's probably about 75 degrees this evening, and it's just splendid out. And then, you know, we've talked about we have this taper down drive coming down here. So normally you would step this foundation down with it. And I'm going to turn around and take you back up. But as we've talked, we have that area that's going to be shop space. So we have to have this flat level section because we're going to have I-beams set inside of there. So we had to carry this wall out to carry those I-beams straight, and then we can drop it down. So this will just be a taller frame section. If we weren't doing that built-in shop section, this would tear up just like the other side did. Kind of now that we're round in the back side here, you'll see that they've got these turnbuckle setups throughout the whole inside of the foundation to keep the walls where they need to be. And one more thing you normally won't see on the back of the house we've talked about having the shop entrance here. So similar to the front garage where you're going to have a driveway, we needed to drop the foundation here. Yeah, so it's got that same step down. So when we pour basement floor and we pour a drive to it, we're at the same exact height. And then you guys are probably wondering, sorry, just left the gym and my legs aren't working so well. You're probably wondering what all these little studs sticking out everywhere are. So when you put your plate down, your pressure treat lumber, you need a way to fasten it to the concrete. So what you do is you embed an anchor inside of the foundation. When you're done casting it, you kind of set them down in there and trowel back around them. So we just come through and we lay out the walls, that base plate, we drill a hole and we set it down over this, and we put a washer and a nut, and we just tighten that down, and that makes sure our walls aren't going anywhere, and we've got good fastening to the foundation itself. If not, you're going to be running trying to nail down into foundation, and it's not the best practice whatsoever. You definitely want to have good bolts there. And one other thing that we didn't have on site last time, we had taken a look at all of our load-bearing pads for the patio columns, and since we've got to keep these below the frost line, they had to come through and we formed out the actual piers that'll bring us to the proper height for our pressure treat lumber to sit down on side. And you'll see we've got the concrete inside here. Inside of here at the bottom, similar to what we did with the foundation, we drilled down into the footing, put a piece of rebar to tie in, then cast this. If we didn't have something to hold us to the footing, and we came through and we backfilled this, we've got a good probability that we're gonna knock some stuff over. And we really don't wanna be knocking stuff over whatsoever. And you'll see, even though this is recessed down a bit, we've still got those same tie-ins here. And we did not fill these all the way to the top, but our guys only have so many corner forms in so many different heights, and we kind of used up most of the corners on the foundation, seeing as we've got a lot of twists and turns. So they just measure off and make sure that we're pouring to the same level inside of each of the forms. So today is Monday. I'm losing my mind. We were supposed to pour on Friday, but we made a couple last minute changes with the way that wall steps down. Our client wanted to keep the front of the house a little bit more level, so we just kind of moved the step one form each way. So we kind of had to add extensions on each one, and we didn't want to rush it and then get in to start pouring a foundation late in the day on Friday. So the guys took their time, got those changes made, got all the brick ledge in, got all the little nuances done, got all the turnbuckles in, got everything so the job site was ready to run first thing this morning, so they could just start bringing the concrete trucks in. And as you might imagine, we can't get concrete trucks back here. So we had to rent a boom and pump truck that the concrete trucks feed, and it just kind of booms out and drops right down to where they need to drop, where they need to fill the concrete. So in a couple days, I will be able to take you guys for a tour with the form stripped and kind of give you guys an idea what we've got there. And before we start to backfill, we'll do all of our waterproofing and kind of go through that process. And yeah, let's take a hop inside. Yep. And so one other thing that is a little bit different than you would normally see, instead of doing a few feet of stone and compaction like we've talked about at our Winterberry project for our load-bearing footing, we decided to put the load-bearing footing on good virgin soil that tested great, and then do a sonotube and fill the sonotube to the height that we need for the actual lolly column to sit on. And we're actually only running 2 lolly columns in this basement, which is not a lot. The reason we're doing it, this is our other pad. And I know we've talked multiple times about the shop space. So our client didn't want to have any vertical columns inside of the shop. So what we did is we decided to use a rather large beam to span this whole thing and land on that pad. Normally, if this was a conventional basement setup, we weren't trying to have a free span shop, we would have our one pad there. This pad would be a little bit closer here, and we'd have another pad here. We would do three lolly columns to support the beams. But again, we just went with a heavy duty. I forget what size. I'll have to look at our steel takeoff and see what we're putting in there. But even our steel contractor was like, that's a big beam. It's not something they normally stock, so they had to special order it for us. So they've got it sitting at their yard for when we're ready, so we're not waiting on it. Yeah, so I'm excited for you guys to be able to see this with no forms, and hopefully in a couple weeks we're starting to throw some lumber up. Our framers are currently on a project just down the street from our Winterberry house, and in the perfect world we would already be framed at Winterberry, but we had some delays there, as you guys know about, and we've decided to put that at the back burner while we get this one rocking and rolling. So our concrete guys, when they start stripping their forms, they're gonna load their truck up and they're gonna head right over to Winterberry and start forming Winterberry. So when they get over there, we'll be sure we bring you guys along with and keep you guys in the loop. Appreciate you guys tuning in and following along somewhere on this video. Not good at video editing, and I don't know where all this lands yet, but we're gonna have a like and subscribe link, if that's even possible. Shows my ignorance of YouTube, to be honest with you. If not, if you could, go down below and hit subscribe for us and give the video a like. And if there's any questions you have or anything you'd like me to touch on as we're walking through these job sites, little nuances that you've wondered about and didn't know an answer, put it in the comments, and if I can answer it for you, I absolutely will. And if not, I will get one of our subs out on a job site that does know how to answer it and can give you a good answer. Thank you guys again for following along, and totally pumped for you guys to get to follow this from start to finish along with one of our other projects. Thank you again. Have a good night.